Alright, y'all. Me and Little Mama have officially finished the DLC for Remnant 2. We're probably going to play a little more tomorrow. We're going to be in adventure mode. And I want to go back really quick. And I want to talk about, like, I did a couple videos back when this game was super popular. It's hard to believe how this game just, like player interest fell off a cliff. But before that, I had done a couple videos where I started expressing my concerns about what I feel like is really holding this game back. And my biggest criticism is the economy. Like, the economy of the game, the lack of weapon variety, and of course, like, you get like a slew of people that start piling. Like, I did get dogpiled, you know, I'm just kind of used to it now. So they're like, oh, look at all the weapons you have, and you're whining about weapon variety. They were missing the point that there's only one or two weapons in this arsenal that's really going to speak to the average player, and they're going to stick with them. And that might lead to gamer fatigue, right? So you're going to go through all these exotic worlds, and you're going to, like, see all these sites, but you're only going to really rely on something like the Black Maw or the machine gun, right? There's just, like, one rifle and one handgun that you're going to respond, like, you're going to stick to. I still see, like, sometimes you'll catch a lot of people using this pistol here because it's tried and true. I've switched to this one. It's incredibly effective. But yeah, you get these different pistols, but you get them out in the real world and you realize they're not useful at all. Not for your playstyle. So you really, like, and it could be any pair up. It really could. It's not just the guns that I'm using, but the average player is not really excited when they find new weapons and they level them up and realize it doesn't fit with their playstyle. And I'm not going to say that there's only one or two playstyles in this game. Obviously, that's not true because you have your archetypes. But I'm going to wager that the average player who was playing this game are only getting two weapons and sticking with them. And that creates a very stagnant experience in terms of weapon variety. I have my guesses on which guns most players are going for, but it's not for me to say that because I'll get in a whole lot of trouble by a bunch of knotheads, you know, Remnant knotheads trying to dissect why I'm wrong. Well, that's fine. We're not going to get into that. What we're going to get into is I expressed how the game's economy and the game's reward system is very stagnant. And that is going to be one of the surefire ways that's going to make this game's, like, player interest fall off a cliff once they're done with it. Once they found all the secrets they want to find, once they find all the stuff they want to find, they're going to log on, they're going to be like, I don't feel like playing this anymore, and then they're going to bounce. And I knew that was going to happen. So when I made those videos, interest in the game was hella high, and it should have been because this game is awesome, but it suffers economically and reward-wise. But I did get, you know, the usual, you don't know what you're talking about, you're not doing it right. Somebody told me I need to watch more YouTube videos on this game to understand why my opinion is wrong. Even though I had several hours in the game and I know I'm speaking from my experience, I needed to watch other YouTube videos so that I would understand, because those YouTube videos love the game and I just don't understand why I am wrong. So I need to watch other videos to indoctrinate me into their thinking, right? But I tried to warn about the pitfalls of this game, like what it's actually lacking. So Way leads on the way, and I don't know. I posted this thing in my community posts. I took a screenshot of the player count, and the game like didn't even have 2,000 players. It went from 100,000 players, not even 2,000. That was just within a 2-month span. It absolutely, like, I gave it more credit. I thought it would take maybe up to 6 months for that to happen. No, it only took 2 months. And of course, Gunfire Games obviously took note of this. The player interest in their work had completely fell off. And in desperation, they released this DLC. A lot of people were shocked that a DLC came through so soon. I was not shocked. I was not shocked at all. Okay. They're trying to get people to come back and play their game because nobody's playing the game. Nobody's fucking talking about the game. And again, this is terrible because Remnant 2 should be like right the fuck up there with, I don't know, it should still, like, people should still be interested in this game. Like, I checked Baldur's Gate 3 tonight, and there's like 82,000 people still playing that game on Steam. There's 14,000 players playing this game right now, like last time I checked. And this DLC is exactly what this game needs, but it's when the DLC is done, my honey. When people is done finding all the secrets, when they's done finding all the little pieces of jewelry, all the melee weapons, like, you know, my broom of doom is a fucking broom. That is a Harry Potter broom on crack. That's all that is. But once they're done finding all this stuff, what's gonna happen? You know? Like, it would have been really cool if the developers had taken a step back and looked at games like Borderlands, right? Borderlands, or Borderlands 2 specifically, and been like, man, how do we get our game to do that, right? Like, they have a really cool idea. Somehow, some way, fuse what they wanted to do here with the addictive formula of Borderlands 2. And they too would have 82,000 players playing their game, like Baldur's Gate 3 has right now. But between the stagnant economy, as I've always claimed, and the subpar reward system, you know, there was a moment, like, the game randomizes events that happen to you when you're going into Worlds Through Adventure mode. But me and Little Mama, for some weird reason, we kept getting stuck in the same arena with this boss fight involving a disc that shoots blight at you, and it awakens blight monsters around you while it's fighting you. And about the 5th or 6th time, well, actually, it didn't take that long, but let's say after the 5th time, we had to get through that monster to get past it, to go get where we're going. That's when I realized, like, they have all these cool boss fights in this game, but the more you go through them, and of course, they don't drop nothing. Okay, after the first time you defeat them, they don't really drop anything anymore. It's not like a Borderlands boss. After you defeat it, like, there's all this loot. Like, holy shit, there's all this loot. You know, there's some rare weapon that you pick up and you automatically fall in love, and you sort of try to build your character around that specific randomized weapon that was a 1 in a million chance you could have found it, you know? I don't know. I'm not saying it needed, like, this game needs to be that extravagant in its you know, its weapon variations and stuff. But I don't know. They should have probably took a harder look at a game like Borderlands to figure out how to fuse their gorgeous world design with an addictive gameplay loop. They just didn't nail it. So this DLC came just like, it did come super fast, but they needed it to, because this game is suffering right now. It is suffering from the issues that I brought up, that I got crapped on over. There's another incident where people looking at my picture, like, I don't know why people do that. Like, young guys insist on, like, you ugly, so why should I listen to you? I'm listening to you because I'm offering you some wise advice. You're not going to be playing this game later, and by later I mean probably not in 2 weeks. So getting hostile with me over a game you're not going to be playing in 2 weeks is absolutely mind-blowing. Stop it. Cut it out. You're terminally online. Get offline. Stop being such a terrible... Like, you're not a terrible person. You're just stuck in a terrible reaction loop. Like, you love something right now, and then you want to, like, eat someone alive because they see the flaws in it. It's not gonna age well, right? And you want to eat them alive because you're so passionate about a game that you're not gonna be playing 2 weeks from now. Calm the fuck down, kid. But anyway, yeah, the DLC is good. So let's get DLC. DLC good, but it suffers from the same formula issues from the main game. You're gonna find like three fucking melee weapons. New archetype, the Ritualist, which we did find it. That was cool. And some mods. I'd go through them and explain them, but my first impressions of them, they didn't seem interesting to me at all. They don't catch me. Found some jewelry. It's just the same bullshit. Because, again, it's Remnant 2, so it's like you pick a piece of jewelry, be like, oh, you get a 5% increase in damage, you know, when it's raining out. And there's an electrical status effect on an enemy. It's not like jewelry's not that bad, but it's just like meh. That's so meh. And yeah, the jewelry suffers from a whole lot of meh. So yeah. I do like this game though. This is so cool. Like, I love what they did here. I just wish they would have looked a little harder at how Borderlands, especially Borderlands 2, how they nailed it. You take Dark Souls and you fuse it with a looter shooter. You should have looked at Borderlands 2 a lot harder and say, how do we take that addictive gameplay loop and infuse it into our Dark Souls looter shooter? And they didn't. No, they didn't. But, yeah. Yeah, the DLC is a lot of fun. And it's going to remind players why they really enjoy this game. But once they're done obsessing over it, that 14,000 players on Steam, it's probably going to, like, tank back down to below 2,000 like it was. And they're going to release another DLC out of like sheer fucking panic, trying to get people to play the game again, right? And I suspect that people who are getting a brand new rush for this video game are going to come in and they're going to start dumping on me again. But my prediction will be just as solid as my original prediction. So your argument is moot. This game is fantastic, and it's a tragedy in motion, because as soon as you guys are done obsessing over every little piece of jewelry and artifact and, you know, shard, you're gonna leave the game anyway. You know you are. You could tell me anything else. You could tell me whatever you want to. I love the game. This game's awesome. It's the best game ever. It is until it's not, right? The economy in this game is shit. The reward payout for encountering the same damn boss that you just encountered 20 minutes ago is not good enough. They become a nuisance after a while, and because they're so hard, they are like the biggest pain in the ass ever, because you know once you kill them, they're not going to give you anything good. But oftentimes you're stuck having to deal with them if you want to progress whatever you're doing in adventure mode. And I'm going to say right now, here's my hot take. Here's my hot take. The end game boss, 82 hours I've played this game. Still haven't fucked with it. Once in a while we dive into that arena and then we're just like, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Be like, oh, well, you know, you're just not good enough. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not good enough. That's why I play in adventure mode. I'm not good enough to fight that boss. I don't care. And the reason why I don't care to put in the effort is because I know this game well enough now to know whatever that boss drops, it's gonna be fuck all. It's not gonna be great. It's gonna be, what is it? Tell me now, what is it that the boss drops? It's gonna be another fucking sword, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, there you go. That's why I don't fight the end game boss. It's gonna be a sword. It's gonna be some stupid necklace. No thanks. Maybe I'll get a 5% chance it might drop some legendary gun. Like the real game changer in the game. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not. I like the game. That's why I play it in adventure mode. I love re-exploring the worlds and doing this and that. But that end game boss, I know he's not going to drop nothing. Nothing I really want. So why should I put in the effort? Let's be real here, okay? But yeah, but you don't get the trophy. I don't play video games for trophies, so no, I don't care about that endgame boss. Fuck that boss. Yeah. One of these days, when I finally defeat the boss and he drops whatever bullshit item that's supposed to make me feel better that I defeated him, I can be like, well, I finally killed the boss. Well, I finally got to see the end of this story that is not that interesting. I'm sorry, this story is not that interesting. Like, I'm not foaming at the mouth to see how the story ends. It's not very good anyway. Like, the little side stories you find in the world, you know, those are interesting, but the overall story is not enough. It's not interesting enough to want to finish it. And knowing how bullshit, like the bullshit rewards you get for defeating bosses in this game, there is zero incentive for me to take on that frustrating boss at the end. I don't care. It's a dragon. Of course it's a dragon. I spent 20 years playing fantasy games and I'm always stuck fighting dragons. I try to get away from it. Try to get away from it. And then I get to the end of this game and it's a fucking dragon. No, I don't want it anymore. Stop it, Todd. Get away from me, Todd, with your damn dragons. Anyway, yeah. It's a bit of a shame. It's going to be a bit of a shame that when this DLC has it's completed its cycle of hype, this game's gonna lose its player base again. Just like I said it would lose its player base in the beginning. Man, after 2 months, yo. Wow. After 2 months. I thought it would take longer than that, but it wasn't even 2 months and people stopped playing this game. That's awful. This game is, yeah, this game is awesome. And therein lies the tragedy of why, like, what I'm saying here. It's awesome. And that's why I feel bad for what's going to happen after this DLC is done. Like, when the player base gets done with this DLC, right? They get hungry, they get obsessed, and they'll binge it, they'll milk it, and then they'll leave it. And this is, like, this game is so good, like, there should be no reason to leave it. But there's just so few reasons to stay. It's sad. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, and I will catch you on the flip side.